Welcome to the Lutetia Lounge. Produced by Studio Whacked.
Stuff is kind of disappointing and sad.
Yeah, very sad.
A lot of lost information.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I guess we don't really know how much has been, destroyed over there. Even today, things are still being destroyed, right? I mean, if you think just, what was it, maybe 15, 20 years ago when it was... they blew up those big Buddhas in Afghanistan.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah.
Was it ISIS or something? Yeah.
No, it was before ISIS. The other group, I can't remember their name.
Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, I mean, it was Al-Qaeda did that. Yeah. And I mean, how many times have things been lost in the name of like?
For sure, religion, like some other dogma, and that's insane. I mean, on a much smaller scale, there's also like all the digital pictures, like I know from my childhood, like because I grew up like in the 2000s, that like all those pictures are also lost, like because just like bad use of technology and so it's kind of crazy. Like we keep losing things, and I don't know. Yeah, it's like also a matter of like trying to rebuild, but like those big like civilization. I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta keep forgetting that we.
It's a good thing that we, some of those, their art is still intact, and their pottery and their gold ware and everything like that, the jewelry and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of those things. Anyways.
Yeah.
Listen, Vincent.
Thibault.
No, I was saying your last name, Vincent.
Okay.
Right? I'm sorry. Yeah. I was going to call you by your last name. I was trying to be formal.
Oh, okay.
And then I was going to try to say your whole last name. But yes,
my
Thibault.
Whole last name.
Vincent. Oh, no worries.
C'est moche. Le truc. Tu peux reprendre à Thibault, ça se verra pas.
No problem.
Je vérifie, c'est vraiment moche l'écran. Putain, t'as fait chier.
What, the thing in the back?
C'est le fil en fait qui fait chier.
This is like a cache-misère, the stack of books. That's awesome.
Homemade.
A cache-misère, it's essential in life, though.
Yeah, it is.
Ouais, là, c'est nickel. Vas-y, quand tu veux.
All right, cache-misère is good. Well, listen, Thibault Vincent Ducimetiere.
Exactly. Wow.
How would you pronounce it? That sounded pretty good and sort of with an anglophone accent on it.
No, I like it. It's Thibault Vincent Ducimetiere. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. You look like you just came back from painting the new 16th chapel. I mean,
yeah, I just did. Painted it all over. I thought like just needed like some overall, so yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So what are you working on right now?
Right now I'm working on kind of this bigger painting. I have a lot of people coming in my house, and like it has kind of been turned into this outhouse. So I want to make it look good, and I'm preparing a big painting for behind my couch. So right now that's kind of what I'm doing. Like it's I've just been like painting in order to just hang on my walls and make sure that it's beautiful. And maybe in a week or two we're gonna have this still party at mine.
So you say we? Is this like a collaboration with some other artists, or is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I say we because like I really haven't been.
It's like the royal we.
The royal we. No, yeah, it's just like there's been like many people like we talked about like all those people hanging out, and so I feel like it's my house, but it's also like more of a little bit of a community that kind of lives here. So
it's not a squat, right?
It's not a squat. Like it's actually my house, but it's turning into a squat. Kind of like expensive squat because I'm still paying the rent, but
cool.
It's that's cool. So right now, I'm painting this big painting. It's the biggest I've done so far. It's I don't know how big, like maybe a meter by something. It's quite big, and it's a painting of a C-section. Like when like baby comes out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Nice.
And what inspired that?
I guess the realization, like coming back to painting not a couple of months ago, like maybe it's been more like 4 or 5 months ago now. I've been just painting on my own, and then started showing some of the painting to people, and people have been really enjoying it. And that was very weird to me because it's just like I'm basically putting my brain like on the canvas and kind of trying to have no filter, trying to make something that is very honest with myself. And somehow people fuck with that, which is a very weird feeling. It's why, like, I don't really get why. I try not to ask myself why.
Yeah.
But just the fact of having people enjoying it made me feel kind of born again in some way, or just like that there was some change that was necessary. And I don't know, like some feelings that, you're trying to tone down, like, I don't know, feeling of like violence or like anger or like all those things that I was really trying to not feel too much before. And now it's just like rediscovering them and trying to put them on canvas. So I guess that's what inspired that. Like, it's just, I feel like I was just, taken out of the womb and just back into the world. And so that's what inspired that.
Were you born by C-section?
I wasn't.
No,
I don't think so. I need to ask, but I don't think so, no. Yeah.
Well, let's go back talking about where were you born, actually?
I was born like in Annecy, next to the Alps, like next to Switzerland. And like it was, I guess, like my mom and my dad, like it was kind of accidental. And my dad left then, so I didn't know him like for the first 3 years, and he went to Brazil to party. Apparently, it's kind of unclear like what he really did over there.
Right.
But then came back, and they took me and like moved me from beautiful Haute-Savoie, with like the mountains and like Heidi, very cute and quaint, to just above Paris, like in Picardy, which is like the worst region, literally. And so that's where I grew up. Like I started in Annecy and then went to above Paris, and that's where I came from.
So you're 3 uprooted from Annecy, went to Picard.
Yeah.
And is your dad an artist too?
No, my dad was, I get maybe a scam artist, we could say. Yeah. He died like recently last year. But he had like this very weird life, went to Brazil, then went back to France, started a company, failed it like massively. Then we went to live like with his parents for a long time. And he had like a lot of different adventures, which, I don't know, it was kind of fun in a way. Like, very smart guy as well. Like, could always figure out a way to make a living, even though like it was sometimes a bit trashy and stuff. But he was an interesting character for sure. I grew up with him, going to free parties when I was young, like in a van and just like traveling around France, like doing that. So
nice.
Yeah, he was an interesting character. So I don't know. I think I have like something from him, even though like we didn't really speak in the end. But yeah.
And your mom, is she still in Picardy?
Nah. Yeah. I mean, she same thing. Like kind of a character as well, to be honest. not really artists, but I guess like if they were making art, like if they were just making something with their hands, like they would be artists. But they kind of have like this weirdness to them that I like. Now she moved next to Lyon, I think. And she was like homeless for a while, and now she finally found a place. So we're all good.
Nice. But so you grew up in Picardy until how?
Until like 17, and then as soon as I could, like I got the fuck out of there and moved to Paris because there was an awful situation over there. And then arrived in Paris for school originally, but dropped out very quickly, and just started working and doing my shit. And
were you interested in art at that time as well already?
Yeah, very interested in art. I've always been like the weirdo artistic kid, right? But I wanted to go to art school, but it doesn't really work that way when you're poor. I guess you can always find a way like to go to art school, but it's very, very difficult. And so I ended up going to classe préparatoire, the thing in France, like for smart kids,
like a prep school.
Yeah, a prep school.
We'll call it prep school. Yeah.
Terrible system.
What was that here in Paris?
Here in Paris, Lycée Lamartine.
Uh-huh.
I lasted like 2 weeks, I think, and then I was like, that's not for me. Also, just arrived in Paris, like discovered ecstasy and Rex Club, and was like, I cannot study and just have that on the side, you know, like that.
That's a good university too, though,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, that's I learned a lot of shit.
What didn't you like about, I guess, organized or institutionalized education?
I guess like just the way that you have to do things a certain way, even though like you can build. So that was like literature, right? So I think that's the closest thing that you have in school, like in the traditional school system, the closest to art, because that's where like you have the most room for interpretation and like doing things in kind of your own way, like the way to analyze the text. You can analyze it in many different ways. So in a way, you're using your brain more than a method or like something that teachers really want you like to do, and you can always find a way to have good grades even though you didn't really follow like what they wanted you to do. It's not really the same in prep school because like they're preparing you for doing like the grande école, like the
concours.
Becoming
to prepare a dossier to get into these schools.
Yeah,
So it's still like very organized, and you
so
understand.
it's very organized. Yeah.
So do you feel like?
And I was very interested in like it's this weird thing about, I guess, like especially in France, but it's like you have like all those experimental authors and like very interesting things in literature. So that part like really was really fascinating to me. Like Butor, for example, or like other.
Who?
Butor, Michel Butor. Author from I think 20th century, like after the war. So yeah, there was like a lot of like very interesting things. I studied ancient Greek also. I lasted a bit more than 2 weeks actually. I'm kind of lying, like maybe that was 3 months, but still not a lot. But I continued studying on my own and kind of stopped like going at school because that, yeah, like just a bit too formal, a bit too, I don't know, like constricted, I guess.
This wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me, no.
Do you feel like the way the system's set up in France, it's maybe geared towards the elite to get into these schools?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I mean, I guess like because I was poor, but I guess I had like the brains to get into that school. So in that way, like there's some kind of, égalité des chances, like on that, and it's kind of fair in that way. But at the same time, really what they value is more like, how are you gonna conform to the system that they want to impose on you?
Even in art schools in France, you feel like you sort of need to conform or look good on paper in order to get in.
It feels like that. I'm not really sure because I didn't go to art school, but I can tell like from a lot of my friends that went there that, yeah, there's this kind of formality or this way of doing things. I mean, with my friends that I really agree with, like on an artistic level, I know they went to study like somewhere else and like didn't go to France. So maybe like Switzerland, I know is very open-minded and a bit more free, or like I don't know, other countries like around Europe have a different approach to this. I feel like France is very, I don't know if it's close-mindedness. I think it's more of a
traditional, maybe.
Yeah, traditional, a way of also like kind of being afraid of taking any risks and like kind of wanting to copy like others and like going in, how do you say that? Like in paths that are already traced. Just yeah, I feel like there's
roads
this
that
kind
are
of mentality
laid out for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering because I mean I have my own opinions on French education.
What is it?
Well, I mean I have children and I've selected to put them into like a Montessori system just because I feel like they can be kids. Because I feel like the French system is really pretty harsh and draconian in the early stages. I mean, I went to school a bit around the world just because of what my father did, and we moved a lot. But they were all more or less international or have a tendency to lean towards a more American style of education, which kids are kids. And when you're at school, you're learning and stuff. But afterwards, you don't have like a lot of homework.
Right.
And there's sports and things that are mixed in. And it's not just about cramming information into your head and then having to regurgitate that information, which I feel like is sort of the base of French education, especially starting with their grammar. I mean, that's a different story, but I mean, you really have to learn that stuff by heart. But I just was like, I want the kids to think outside of the box, think a different way, and be able to, approach education in that way.
Yeah.
I think that, education overall needs to be reformed. It hasn't been reformed almost in 200 years, but
Yeah.
that's a
different
conversation.
topic. Yeah.
But I was just wondering, so when you went to this prep school, it wasn't for art at all.
It wasn't for art, no. It was just like literature and history, and I mean, learning about, honestly, like it was fascinating. Like if you're curious, like there's just a lot of information, and it was very nourishing. But
because you had originally prepared to go to, after that, you had sort of seen yourself going to, I guess, a normal university, or had you seen yourself going to an art school?
I had no plans. I really wanted to go to art school, but basically when you're poor, you don't have a lot of options. So they're like, well, you're smart, you got to go to prep school. And I was like, okay, I'll just do that, I guess. And also just gives me like the opportunity to go in Paris and move there. And so yeah, that's just what I took. But I really had no plans. I just knew that I kind of liked literature. So yeah, I kind of rolled with that, and I don't know, try to see like maybe I can get more into it, even though like I knew that I was a bit more attracted to visual arts and not really like writing or. But yeah, like that's, I don't know. I just went with it and tried to see like where it would lead me, and it didn't really lead me anywhere like this, but just I segued into the Rex Club, mostly the Rex Club. But that was actually very. Now that I think about it, that was a very big experience for me, because I remember like it was the first time I was going to a club. Obviously, like there's not a lot of clubs in Picardy, and growing up in those rave parties, like free parties from the 2000s, very legal, with like a lot of
Illegal, no?
Illegal, yeah. Like there were. I mean, like all this scene of like punk mixed with like techno mixed with like just like the free party scene, like at that time. That's really where I grew up, where I learned a lot about music. I mean, when I really started listening to music, like I remember when I was a kid, like my favorite track was just on this little CD, and it was just like written one thing on it, like Unitech or something, and that was something that I just got like in a party, and that's it. Like I would just listen to it all the time. It was like a 40-minute track of techno, like hardcore. I don't know, whatever the fuck that was. But that was not like traditional music or anything. So I went back to this club, like in those clubs in Paris, and kind of discovered like that the same energy was still like going on, like just showing a bit more like institutionalized way, a bit like a cleaner way as well, because like used to be very dirty with like fucking drug addicts everywhere, like in those free parties at the time. But now like I rediscovered that whole energy, that whole scene, and the same type of music and just what it creates like with people. So yeah, I really got not invested, like, but attracted to this club scene, especially for the music, like not really for, I don't know, dating or like going out with friends. Like I would just go to the club alone, and that was maybe the biggest part. Like what I learned during my first year in Paris was probably that. Like I really enjoyed that.
And does music have a big influence on your painting?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on life in general, but I'm just like listening to music all the time.
Do you do that thing like Warhol and Basquiat, where they have like a TV going, they have like music going at the same time?
Oh.
Those have like, I know that
Crazy
Basquiat would
sounds.
have like a TV or two going, and then he'd just play like jazz music or maybe classical music, and just always being inundated with other information in order so that it could bleed through, or he'd be tapped into some kind of news or pop culture, and that would somehow come out in his art.
That's very interesting. I never thought about doing that, but I should definitely try it. I felt like something that I've been doing more and more recently is trying to be as confused as possible, like while painting. Like not confused, but just like an overload of information, and like painting when you're very tired, painting very late at night, or painting like, I don't know, trying to make it so that you're turning your brain off like more and more, and like in any way possible. So probably like that's the way to do it as well, like just having this kind of constant feed of sound and like music and news and different things. Same thing with having a lot of people around. as I was saying earlier, like it's kind of distracting, but at the same time, it's inspiring in some way. Like you can't really do the same, can have the same level of technicality, I guess, like when you have all this confusion going around you, but like what comes out of your painting, or you can feel that your inspiration is a bit more raw and a bit more free as well, which is really what I'm looking for, I guess. So
It somehow makes it into your work. I mean, I know that Henry Miller, he used to do. He was a writer. Actually, I know he's from New York. I think he was from Brooklyn, and he came here in like the Depression time, and he'd make a point of going and sitting in cafes and always writing in cafes. He didn't want to be sort of closed off or was really silent. He wanted all that exterior information and all the stimuli to get into his work somehow.
That's interesting.
So he'd make a point to be in a crowded place where, you know, plates are clinking and, you know, people are yelling and stuff like that. And, you know, he made a conscious effort to do it because he knew it would show up in his work somehow.
I think it does show up. There's definitely like some themes or like some things that come out of it. Then I mean, it's also like what you select and what your brain filters as like the part of like information, this like chaos that you think is like the right one and that you want to go with, you know. But it's nice to have like a lot of options and then like figure out like which one is the one that you want to pursue and like dig deeper and everything. So it's interesting like that you say that. I never really realized that, but there's also like different authors. Like I know Baudelaire used to write in cafes all the time as well. And there's also like Balzac, you know, that used to drink I don't know how many coffees like a day, so probably was like shaking and fucking hectic by the end of the day, just like 20
He used
coffees.
to prop himself up on like I believe there's a statue of him like leaning on something, and he'd have like something propping him up like a rod so he could keep writing. And he would profusely drink coffee so to stay awake. And when I read, you know, Balzac, I was just like, this is too much, you know. But later I found out the reason for that is that why he was so verbose and long-winded is because he got paid by the word. And so it all made sense, you know. It's like you're not going to be really concise, and so that was the reason that Madame Bovary, you're just like, you know, you can get the abridged version and it's really good, but this all the ornate detail about like how the houses were decorated, it was just like, dude, come on, give me a fucking break here. But now I understand him, you know. He's getting paid. He had to make a living. Do you make a living off your art yet? Is that your goal?
It's not the goal yet. Actually, like I first got into painting 5 years ago, 5 or 4 years ago, and my first painting sold like basically 4 hours after making it, which was crazy.
That's good.
That was good in a way, but then like I think it also kind of fucked me up artistically, because like trying to that's the same thing, like trying to make paintings that would sell and not paintings that would
you're trying to commercially conceive something, which is not good.
And it's not good, especially at the beginning. I think like when you kind of know your themes, or you know like when you're more mature, like it's probably okay to do that. I guess you can do it and like kind of keep your integrity and like to find a balance between both, because of course like you still need to make a living. And I don't think it's I don't know, all artists like made like you always have like some kind of concession that you need to do, like in order to, I don't know, maybe make a command like for, I don't know, the church, like at the time like that was ordering a lot of paintings, like you still need like, you know, to find like a balance. But
or you had to work for somebody, work for the man, or have a day job, like,
so
at that time I guess like Da Vinci would have been the best example. I mean, he got commissioned by the church to do stuff and got paid from them. I
did a lot of commission, but still like could keep his integrity. And I think like there's a part of education, or like a part where you, like a time where you need to learn about like what you really want to do, what you want to say, and then like a part where you can get to work. Like that's, I think it's necessary to have both. So right now, going back to painting, like quite recently, I kind of refused to sell them because I was selling them before. Like I had this kind of network of people that were obviously like very interested, because it's also like, I guess, like gets up in value. Like if you start painting and then you paint like 5 years later, like they could see like how the investment would make sense now, and so we're interested in buying more and getting more things. But I didn't want to sell them, and now like I think recently, again, because like things have been really accelerating over the past months probably. Now I'm starting to think of selling them, and probably not selling them myself as I did before, but just like getting someone, which is in the works right now, to sell them for me, or just like handle all of this side. So
Have
I
a
can just,
dealer,
like,
have an art
yeah,
dealer.
have an art dealer. Yeah. So.
Do you know anything about the industry on that side of it?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as I should, I guess, like in order to redo it properly. And yeah, I feel like it's probably best to just focus on one thing and, have your T-shape, as they say, like in the startup world, but it's just like having one thing that you really try to dig and try to be an expert at. And I think I need to be an expert at like just intrusive thoughts and painting them.
So, but I mean, I guess it boils down to that is your goal, though, is to live live off your art. Because I mean, you gotta
yeah.
eat, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a day job?
I do have a day job, yeah, but yeah, it's pretty flexible. I guess I don't know. I'm not trying to pose it as a goal, to be honest.
But isn't that I guess that would sort of be like the pinnacle of for an artist, is to be able to live off of what he's passionate about. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. For sure.
Maybe that's too romantic. I don't know. Maybe that's
No. I mean, I think you're right. I think you're definitely right. It's again, I guess, like those kind of questions that I'm just like starting to ask myself now. Mm-hmm. And definitely I want to live off of like the things that I'm creating and like my creativity, and so I'm already kind of doing that. But yeah, probably yeah. Just to give a simple answer, yes. I guess I want to live from my painting.
The answer doesn't have to be simple.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because, I mean, from what I understand, I mean, at what point did you assume the role the title of being like an artist, a painter? That's oftentimes that's very difficult. I work in cinema and TV and stuff, and I have a lot of friends where it's hard to be like at one point, yeah, I'm an actor, or I'm a photographer, because at that point people are like, oh, let me see what you've done, and maybe you haven't actually had a lot of work, so people are like, are you this or not? And some people kind of be like, well, I do this on the side, and they don't want to assume that role.
Yeah.
Do you fully assume? Because we're all artists, I believe, and I just don't think that enough of us tap into it. Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
But it is hard to say something like that because you put yourself out there.
That's true. I think it's. I mean, I really felt like that I had the opposite problem, which is that I was just painting for myself, and then obviously like, it kind of took over. Like, I mean, just like the way I dress now, because it's just easier like to get to work. Like when I go back home, like I can just start painting. So now I'm just with this fucking suit all the time, and like even in my house, like it's now very not dirty, but just like there's paint all over the place, and it's like I'm definitely losing my caution or like whatever. So like it kind of took over, and I have a lot of works. Like I don't post a lot of them on Instagram or anywhere, but I have like a shit ton of canvases and paintings at home that I just kept for myself. So I feel like now I need like to make the conscious effort of actually calling myself or presenting myself, I would say, as a painter or an artist, and kind of putting myself out there. But it's definitely like right now, this is the period that I'm at. It's like,
is that hard to do? Like, I guess mentally and as I guess as part of your identity.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand like how it makes sense, how like. Because as soon as something like makes sense, as soon as like it feels natural for you, like then it's very easy to present yourself that way. But right now I had a bit of, I mean, I guess now it's okay, like I'm at the end of this period, but for the past month, like it's been really trying to like, okay, like people actually fuck with that, and like I I can call myself that, and it's not like shocking to anyone because I actually have works to show to people. Like if they say, "Oh, you're a painter, like show me what you do," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I can." I have a ton of things that I can show. So yeah, it's part of the identity, I guess, but it's just like I'm trying to make it work in my brain. Like as soon as it works in my brain, like then it's gonna be, yeah, for sure, like how I'm presenting myself. I'm getting there.
No, I just ask because it's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of artists.
It is. It's also probably like part of the culture here a bit more, you know, to not trying to brag or like not like trying to be not being very loud, you know, I guess. And I feel like there's this stigma around like calling yourself an artist, like before like people.
Before you're recognized, maybe.
Before you recognize, yeah, like other people need to call you an artist before you can call yourself an artist, which is kind of bullshit, to be honest. But that's like definitely the environment that I grew up in, and so it's takes a bit of time like to deconstruct it in my head and be
assume
like,
that
okay,
role,
no,
maybe.
actually, I dig art, like I love art. I'm making art. I've been making art like since not art, but like just I guess drawing and creating shit like since I can remember, like since I'm a kid. So yeah, like I'm an artist, I guess.
What format, what medium do you prefer to work in? Do you work only with in painting? Do you also do sculptures or anything like that thus far? Have you ever?
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things, like from drawing, music, sculptures as well. A lot of like more digital stuff, like coding, video games. I've experimented with a lot of things, and I figured just like because of my work experience that it's good like to focus on one thing. Like if you focus on one thing, like then people will understand also a bit better like what you're trying to achieve. So I'm trying to stick with painting.
And you mainly work with like gouache, or what do you mainly work with? Watercolors? What do you? From what I saw, it looked like.
Yeah, it's mostly like airbrush, and so it's acrylics and oil on top of it. So I kind of like the idea of mixing like airbrush, which is, I don't know, technology from maybe the 50s or something. Like it's kind of like it makes a lot of noise. It's like machines and stuff, and it breaks all the time. It's really fucking annoying to use. And oil, which is like this renaissance, you know, like very like was a technological revolution at the time because like you had how is it called, like tempera, which is like dry super fast and everything. Oil is like very easy to use when you paint. So like I mean, not very easy to use, but it's there's this beauty to it when you use it. And so I like to mix both of them. And then what I'm starting to get into more and more is trying to see the painting as an object, which is not, I mean, it's probably seems very evident like when you're outside of it, but like making sure that it's not just an image, that it's also like, you know, the frame or like everything that is around the image also makes sense as an object and is like kind of a beautiful thing that you want to see and like want to keep looking at. And I was really focused on like making sure that the image, like what's represented on the canvas, was like that's where my focus was. And I think like now I'm taking a bit more of a sculptural approach, making sure that also everything kind of makes sense and fits. So that means like maybe painting on different formats. Like I start painting a bit of on glass or like mirrors, and there's some other things that I want to do, like maybe clothing as well, like some clothes. I'm experimenting with that and trying to see, what I can do to make it like both a painting, but also like just as an object. When you go to the museum, for example, like you see those paintings, and like especially like the older type of museums, or like even in galleries and stuff, and you know they're framed in a way that you don't just look at the image that is represented on canvas. Like you look at the whole object, and usually that's what sticks with you. It's like the whole thing, the whole package. So that's what I'm getting into now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, listen. Classically, I just have a little questionnaire I like to ask my
Okay.
guests and stuff. So I'm just gonna get around to that.
All right. Let's go.
First of all, can you tell me what your favorite hangout in Paris is?
Favorite hangout?
Yeah. You said the Rex before. I don't know if you go there often anymore. It's kind of passé now for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, but
a bar, a bistro, a cafe,
I know.
Could be anything.
Honestly, I'm tempted to say Silencio, but yeah, I guess I'd say Silencio. That's it's really stays in my heart as like this place. That's where I kind of my painting career started like 5 years ago, and I mean, I don't know. It used to be a very fun spot. It's not as fun anymore, but still, it's a crazy spot, I think. Yeah, I'd say Silencio.
I didn't get to ask you before, but what role does Paris play in your work as an artist? You said you came here from Picardy because Picardy was sort of a backwoods place.
Yeah.
Do you think that Paris, the city, and the vibes and the movement here really have an impact on your work and the way you see things as an artist?
For sure, definitely. I think moving here, like when I was 17, like was life changing. Like it just felt like I kind of found my tribe, and that people would get like what I was talking about, for example, which was not the case like in Picardy, like where people I mean, anything cultural is kind of more difficult to talk about. Like people have different problems, like they don't really care about all those type of things, or it's a different type of culture that I don't really dig. But yeah, I feel like it definitely had an impact. Now it's been 10 years, and I don't know, it's kind of wearing me down now. I feel like I want to move. I feel like I am starting to see like the problems that Paris has, but at the same time, I feel like you really kind of become part of a city when you start really to hate it and to love it at the same time, So it's like there's some part of me that really hates Paris right now. Like just the close-mindedness, the formalism that, we talked about earlier, the kind of like traditional approach to things. Even if you look around the city, like it all looks like it's the fucking 19th century. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
if you were to move, would you move to another city in France, or could you see yourself living abroad?
Well, I'd like to move to, probably like to move to New York. This is the city that I love the most. Like, I mean, probably before Paris also, but yeah, it doesn't seem like the right move to America right now. So that's, I don't know, Paris is, I feel like a lot of people are coming. I feel like when Paris is international, like when I have all those friends that are not French, but just coming from all around the world and bringing this new energy to Paris, kind of like, Paris in the 50s with the jazz scene and everything. Like that's what I feel Paris is becoming again. Then Paris is really good. And so I want to stay in Paris, like if it really becomes like that. And so I'm trying to push like more and more people to come here and just like create this artistic scene here. But
so the majority of your friends are foreigners?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not really hanging out with. I mean, I still do have like my good friends, and of course I love them, and it's super nice hanging out with them. But I feel like more and more disconnect with just like meeting new French people if they're like really French and like Parisian and like very proud of like their country, which I don't know hasn't really done anything in the past like 50 years, but they're still like super proud of it for some reason. And yeah, so
right on. What's your favorite gros mot? Your favorite curse word in French?
I guess putain is the one that I use the most. Is it my favorite though? All the variations on Nicta are really fun, I think. Nique ta mère, nique ta race. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to my next question. Do you have a motto or a mantra for life? Or in life?
Yeah, I guess I really like this phrase by John Paul II, which is don't be afraid. I think it's so nice. I don't know. I feel like I really got into studying the Bible like on my own like 3-4 years ago, and I think it's such like an empowering thing to think about, and it's also like just kind of a summary of like everything that should be the message. Like it got, I guess, corrupted into be afraid of like sin or hell or like whatever the fuck they want you to be afraid of, but at the core, like the message is really just don't be afraid, because again, like you can do a trustful into destiny or whatever. Like it's basically like Christianity starts like from this point that we all say, like that's literally where like the story of Christianity starts, you know. I mean, it starts like with the death of Christ, and I don't know. I think that was, yeah. I guess that would be my motto now.
You're obviously referring to John Paul II, who was formerly the Pope.
The Pope, yeah.
I have a little story for you. I was blessed by him.
No way. What?
Yeah.
In Rome?
I was in Rome. I went there in 1986, 1987, when I was living in Germany.
Wow.
And we went to an audience with the Pope. It was organized by the school. We went from Stuttgart, where I was living, down to Rome. And I knew nothing about Catholicism. My parents are WASPs. And so we went there, and some girl was like, oh, we're in the Vatican and everything. She's like, listen, the Pope's going to come by, and I just stand over here with my camera and get a picture when he walks by. I was like, all right. I'm like, I don't even know who this cat is.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, like, you know, people, like, he's really big in the church and stuff. I didn't understand the hierarchy that was with, you know, that sort of governed the Catholic Church. So I was like, all right. So this girl's, you know, standing over there or whatever. I think she's on my left side over here, and I'm like this with, you know, and we pushed our way to the front. And so this cat, Jean Paul II, is going around and he's collecting all this stuff. He's got like these like bodyguards and people that are just collecting gifts. People are handing him like literally like boxes of money and gold statues.
Fucking anything.
I don't know. I'm sure, supposedly it's going to the church. I'm not sure what it's, you know, going to end up or where it's going to end up. And then finally he makes his way around, comes around this way, and like I'm waiting for him to get to the chick. Well, in the meantime, he's in front of me, and he like throws me down the whole like crossy thing.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, all right, I don't even know what's going on. You know, I don't even know what's going on. And across the way, apparently there was a photographer that took a picture, because there's a lot of people there that make, you know, professional photographers that make money. And we left, and they came up to my mother. I had no idea. I got the picture of him walking past a chick, which she didn't get blessed. And then they tried to sell us this picture. My mom's like, well, what is it? I'm like, I don't know what picture they're talking about. And then you see him. Like, so I have a picture of me being blessed by the Pope.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy picture to have.
My great Aunt Mary said that I could do anything. I couldn't do anything wrong, excuse me. I would always end up in heaven. But seeing that I'm an aeontist, I don't think I'm going to end up in heaven.
People kind of extrapolate, I guess.
Yeah, no, but it was just
don't be afraid is a nice thing to say. It's like, yeah, for sure. Like the Pope said it, so.
No, I agree with you. I mean, if you anticipate, I guess, tragedy, or you anticipate being anxious about something before it ever happens, or if it's ever going to happen, then you've sort of lived it twice, and there's no real point.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, that's very true.
Why live it twice if you don't have to?
Yeah.
I think it's more easily said than done, because obviously as humans we have a tendency to sort of project ourselves. But being here now and trying not to worry about what's going to happen in the future, because you can't control it anyways. I mean, I think that's
yeah, you can control it, and I don't know. I feel like there's a resonance like of this particular sentence with like, I mean, it comes from a book that was sold like I don't know how many times. There's like, even whether you believe in it or not, or like I don't know, definitely like have some distance with it, but it's some kind of like human achievement of like humanity. Like just people like read that like they keep reading it, and yeah, it's like interesting that the main message is just don't be afraid. Like just do your thing, and you'll see. Like it's, I don't know. It's nice. It's a nice message, I think.
Try it.
Yeah, right. Try it could be another way to say it. Yeah.
Try not.
Try
to
it might be my new motto.
No, try it. Like try not to be afraid. See if it works.
Oh yeah. Try
I didn't mean just like try.
Yeah, just try it. Just do it.
Getting back to my little questionnaire, do you have any questions that, like about life or in general that torment you? As a human, as an artist, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really think so. I kind of had like trouble. Kind of have trouble eating, so like what's for dinner is really like what torments me every day.
Something banal, something very
Something, very, yeah. I've been on like bread and soup for the past year.
That's good. I mean, it's healthy, probably. Right?
That's probably healthy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not dead yet, so.
What do you think is the most reprehensible thing you've ever done in the name of love?
Honestly, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What's yours?
I'm asking the question. We're not interviewing me.
That's a difficult question.
That's for another time. We were talking earlier about you were even commenting on, you're kind of getting sick of Paris and certain things about maybe the French or the Parisians in general. What's the thing that sort of bothers you or chafes you the most about the French, about your people?
About my people. I guess like there's this weird dynamic of like people somehow, like even if they don't really show it, you don't see a lot of like French flags and everything. I mean, you see them more and more, but like people are still like very proud of this culture and like what it has done in the past, like whatever, like fine. But I feel like there's also this close-mindedness to everything new. And I remember like the reason why I stopped painting, like 5 years ago, I came back from New York, sold that painting, arrived back in France, and everyone was kind of like, shutting me down as like, nah, it's bad. Plus, like, you're making art for money. Like, you sold it like 4 hours after making it. Like, it's not a good thing. Like this kind of like traditional way to think about things that I think is cutting France culturally, at least artistically, like from anything interesting that could be happening. And I think like there's a lot of potential, but people don't see like this new potential. They see only like the old stuff, like the old 19th century Haussmannian buildings, or like even like if a new place opens, like I'm not talking about like the hip places or like the alternative places. I'm talking about like the just regular Paris place. They're always gonna refurbish it to look like some kind of old fucking thing with like the costume and the waiters and I kind of hate that. It's
so being sort of set in traditional ways.
Yeah, set in traditional ways and like somehow like still being like very proud. So I think it's a bad mix. I think we need to change one or the other. Just being supportive. Like French people are not very supportive, I feel.
Do you see a difference between? I mean, I know the answer to this question myself, but maybe as a foreigner, but between Parisians and the rest of French people.
Yeah.
Because Paris is kind of like an island on its own in a sense. Like Ile-de-France. It's like New York isn't very representative of America.
Yeah.
I don't know that Berlin is very representative of Germany or London wouldn't be so of England.
Yeah, there's a difference for sure. I mean, I'm really happy that I live in Paris and not in the rest of France, for sure. Let's put it this way.
Okay, that's good. That's good. If you could spend the evening or the night with any French celebrity or person, living or dead, now you don't have to spend the night with them necessarily in a sexual fashion, but if you could, who would that person be and why? Man or woman, doesn't matter.
I guess maybe like some 17th century, 18th century courtesan, maybe Marie Antoinette, like just partying and seeing what's up. Yeah.
Eating cake,
yeah. Probably not just cake, but
that's great. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's assume that you're that hell is real, and that you die, and you go on down to hell or wherever hell is, if it's down or below or on the same level.
Who knows what it is?
And there Satan is at the fiery gates, and he's welcoming you in. What would you like him to say to you?
Hi. That would be a nice way to start. And so I'm going to hell. Like that's where the question starts, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm going to hell, I guess. I don't know. I hope he says like congrats or something, because I'm really not trying to go to hell. Like I'm trying to be a good person. So some kind of congratulations or just some kind of something that an explanation maybe. Like that'd be nice.
Sweet. And I just got one last question for you, Thibault. So when I was growing up, people would always say there's these kind of people and there's those kind of people, you know, and I didn't really agree with that. And later on, and as I sort of got older and had more experience, I understood what people were talking about. So this next question is sort of a fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
So there are those that blank, and those are those that.
Cards Against Humanity. I guess we go back to the motto, but there are those who try and those who don't. Like, a lot of people don't even try, which is insane to me. But yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So those
again, like coming back to everything that we talked about, I think a lot of people in France like don't even try. Like they don't even try anything because they're afraid of like the judgment of others and how it's going to be perceived, and
or they're afraid
making something different. So.
Or they're afraid they're gonna fail.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's
there are those who fail and those who don't.
Well, I mean, I think that those are those that do and those that don't, or those that try and those that don't try.
Yeah.
And I think that having lived here for almost 23 years now, I think that the French are sort of always afraid of failing, and so then they rather maybe not.
That is very true, yeah. Afraid of failing.
But I think most people in the world are probably, I mean, a lot of people are afraid to fail, and people don't want to put themselves out there on the line. But I feel maybe in France that people kind of want to get to a job they know that's set up, and they can have that job for a long time, and then, you know what? Then, you know, at 65 or however, whenever I retire, and then I'll just like really take advantage of life.
Yeah.
But that's assuming you make it there. I mean, what about in the meantime? You just have that job you don't really like, and I mean, I don't know.
That is so true. And yeah. Fuck, what was it? Damn. Forgot what I wanted to say.
It's all right, brother.
Yeah, that's so true.
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
and I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. And
that was great.
We're going to show a lot of your work and put some links on there.
All right.
And keep up the good fight, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Bon vent, mes camarades.